sorry. Morning, guys. Sorry, mic was muted. Hope you're all doing well. How's it? Zeems, TJ, Stanley, Nick, Balas, how we all doing? Antonio, welcome. Just looking at GG at the moment, I've also just taken a look at some of the messages coming through here, saying that you guys took a couple losses or a loss all on the same position. I'm gonna quickly explain to you guys why it wasn't a valid trade. I do understand the temptation to take this sort of position, but let me just explain to you quickly why it was, more or less invalid. And where were we? So you can see here, based on the 30-minute time frame, we had our, if you're marking aggressively, even if you're marking passively, we did have a nice candle close above that level. We also had a nice close on the 1 hour. What we didn't get though was a retest of this zone. You can see that this candle didn't create a bottom wick, which then tapped into this zone, and then again you run that risk that if you take that position, hi there TK, how are you doing? If you take that position, you run the risk of knowing that price could come back and retest the zone at any time. So that's what we're getting at the moment. We're currently getting that retest, which is the importance of the bottom wick. I always talk about this when we are taking what's called a type B entry, because this would have been our type B entries. That is a close above, and then the next candle wicking down. That wick down isn't just to see a wick down, guys. What the wick down does on the lower time frames is it forms support on a previous level of resistance. So that's what we needed here. We needed to retest this zone on the lower time frame, such as the 5-minute time frame, and that's why we need the wick to tap all the way into our zone and then break the high. So if we break the high beforehand, then the trade is more or less invalid, because we haven't then retested, and what we're taking the trade on then is that volume is just going to push us straight through, and then we're just going to get up to these levels without retesting, and then we will come and retest this point later on in the day. So I understand why the trade was taken based off candle setups, such as a candle close above that level. There was good probabilities based on that. We also had an overall, I think it's a 3v1 market structure at the moment. I will do a full analysis on GJ and gold just now. Zeus, how you doing? I'm great, thanks. And yourself? Welcome. So no need to be too worried about this, as long as you manage risk. I saw there were some good chances. I was also looking at the charts at the time, but there were some great opportunities to manage risk when that 30-minute and 1-hour candle flipped bearish after breaking the previous 1-hour candle high, break of 50-minute lows, things like that. So you would have been able to manage your risk a lot. So definitely something to look at. We do seem to be getting that retest of this zone, and then hopefully we can further continue bullish. You've been very consistent with your streams. Nice job. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Yeah, let's do a full breakdown on, we can start off with GJ. Start on the weekly. So you can see on the weekly time frame, based on our current weekly candle, we are bullish in market structure. We are still moving quite strong bullish at the moment. Even though we don't have the most volume right now, we are still moving pretty well. This weekly candle wicked down nicely, broke the high of the previous weekly candle, and now we do have this sort of range to fill, so I do see us possibly moving into that range. Sorry, it's just gone to gold now. So we do need to fill this sort of range, which is also currently above a daily resistance level, so that's why we are currently finding issues breaking above, because you can see we're on a level of daily resistance. We've now formed resistance at that level. If we can now break through this resistance, then I think there's a good chance that we can continue bullish up till this level and fill that sort of weekly and daily range that we have. Morning bot Rex, how are you doing? Our market structure on the daily is of course still bullish. High created by this point, have not exceeded it, and it's been like that for ages. If we then drop down to the 4-hour, we can start marking some zones where we would possibly be looking for some higher time frame resistances to be broken. And we have a support level there, a resistance level there, which we can see if we break above, we are going to have clean candles to the left. And if we break below this support level, we also have clean candles to the left. However, our market structure on the 4-hour right now is currently bullish. You can see this is our high, and this is the point which created the high. We have a 2-candle pullback. So we need to get all the way below that point to have that market structure flip. Doing amazing yourself, doing really well, thank you. So we can mark out that support level. It obviously is going to be risky sells below that level, and whether we're going to have the clean candles on the lower time frames or not we're going to have to drop down and see. So then we're going to go to a 30-minute time frame. You're going to see that if we break below this 4-hour support, we do have some clean candles to the left over here. However, it is going to be counter trend. At the moment, the market structure on the 30-minute, this was our high, and this was the point which created the high, so this becomes our structural flip. So this is our low, and the point which created that low is up here, so we will be bullish above this level, making buys above that 156.827 level very, very probable. Also, because we have the clean candles on the higher time frames as well as on the 30-minute time frame to the left. If we go look left, obviously we do need to take into consideration this rejection wick. That is something very important, but other than that, we need to understand that we don't really have any issues moving up. We have the clean candles to the left, so we should be fine moving up above that level. If we're looking at recurrent prices, I'll be looking for possible minor areas to trade into, so that's going to be above this resistance which we've just created. If we can get a candle close, proper retest of the zone, continuation, then there's a good chance that we can continue bullish. Good morning, Sharif. How are you? Sells, it's going to be potential sells below 156.200, but also super, super risky, guys. That is very counter trend, so just be aware of that. $156.200 is also quite a strong level, guys. It's a full number, so just be aware of that too. And we will be looking for much safer buys, or let's say buy continuation. Gold rejected 1836. Yeah, so we tried to tap into that area, which you can see on the 30-minute. I have this zone marked out because we're currently on a level of resistance, so it's going to be much safer to wait till we get above 1838. I know it is quite far away, so it's going to take some patience, possibly missing out on the more risky move or the earlier move up, but it's just going to save us a lot of problems, because if you can see, if we break above 1838, we have a lot of clean candles to trade into. Morning Trey, how are you doing? You can see that's going to be a lot safer to do. Gold recently has been moving quite nicely. You can see yesterday we had a nice strong push, which was towards the later part of the day. We also had a nice strong bullish candle at around New York Open. So it's going to be much safer to wait for gold to move up or make a nice clean move, come back down, and then we can catch buys back up to the highs. If we look at the fundamentals coming in today, guys, we're going to have CPI, which obviously could play around with gold. We know that it's affecting the USD quite, it's very high impact news, should I say, and unemployment claims are as well. So these are both going to be some pretty interesting numbers, and I'm sure if we get some big number changes, that gold is going to move a lot. And normally on high impact news days, gold does range and tend to play around a little bit, so it's going to be important to wait for possibly that news to come through. I am going to be trading in Discord this afternoon, guys. So we will do the New York session this afternoon, and that will cover this news, which is going to be very interesting. So on GJ, I'd say based off market structure, my current bias is obviously still buys. I have a 3v1, the weekly, daily, and the 4-hour are currently bullish. The 30-minute is bearish. Our market structural flip will happen above this level, which obviously plays into those buy continuations above 156.827. If we're going to be looking for some earlier buys to get up to that structural flip level, let's look for something above 156.605. Obviously, we have clean candles to the left. That's highly important. We have about 18 pips worth of range. If you take into consideration spread and waiting for a candle close, you're going to be looking at about 15-16 pips worth of range. So definitely something to take into consideration. We also are getting a retest of this level of resistance, and on the smaller time frames that will be becoming support. So at the moment we are creating our higher lows, which is great. If we can keep on creating those higher highs, create another higher low, and then we can maybe get that push, hopefully at London Open. We're going to see if we do manage to get any London Open volume. Again, it's been very scarce recently, so let's take a look at that. After, how long do we have? We have a minute and a bit. So after London Open, we'll do a full breakdown on gold, and we can just see what we're looking at. If you guys do have any charts, please send them into the Telegram. I haven't seen any this morning, but I'm sure we all have very similar zones. And yeah, for those of you who did get caught out in this gold, this GJ, almost like a fake out and then came back down to do the proper retest, don't worry about it. It was probably just the fact that we didn't have the lower wick, and then now we've created that lower wick, which is our retest of the zone, and then we can hopefully now at London Open see some volume and get a wick down and continuation. That would be the ideal situation. We have another minute, so let's just wait and see what we get. If this candle can close bullish, that will be, a nice confirmation that our retest is complete, because then that would be resistance turned into support, and that's exactly what we're looking for when we're trying to get our break and retest. If you guys have taken any other trades as well today, also let me know. Wouldn't mind checking them out, analyzing them. But it looks like we are going to get that nice strong close on GJ. If we do close with our top wick though, then again we do have another issue. Which certainly isn't ideal. Just gonna keep a close eye on it. Serge, welcome. Good morning. It's also important to realize, guys, if you are marking passively, then you need to also take into consideration that we didn't close above the resistance level that we wanted to see the close above. That's obviously going to have been our orange line, but we did still close above this sort of level. So there is indication that we've also formed support on our previous level of resistance. How's your week been? I've had an amazing week so far, thanks. I was traveling on Monday, so didn't manage to get much trading in. I think it was gold late Monday afternoon, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, yeah, really good. Let me just check here. Yeah, I took a loss yesterday and took a GJ loss actually on stream yesterday. That's my only loss so far this week, so all good, thanks Trey. How about yourself? Okay, this is really nice. Buy stops were set, so they are currently active and currently up about 5 or so pips. Slowly starting to Just realized I don't trade so well on a Sunday and Monday. If we come back to entry now, it's going to be another very, very annoying situation. Just get ready to... I'm not liking how it's moving at all. Opened a 15 lot, so definitely lowered risk a little bit. But I don't like how it isn't just pushing through. We are also rejecting at a previous level. So if we come back to entry, I will definitely be closing half of my position. Possibly even the full position. Just want to see... If you can inform someone minute support around here, that'll be ideal. So at entry at the moment, gonna be closing half here, I would say. Resistance at 156.68. Anon, welcome. We've now also flipped that 30-minute candle bullish. Sorry, bearish. So obviously sticking in would not be ideal with your full position. I mean, there is obviously lower time frame resistance, but what I'm expecting is London open volume to just push us through, which obviously we aren't getting at the moment. If we look on the 5-minute, we currently are sitting on a resistance level, so we were obviously hoping to push straight through that resistance level, but that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. Lack of volume. I think I will be closing full around there. I just don't like that rejection. So that was tiny loss, about 182 pounds or so. Risk about 400 based on my stop loss. My stop loss was based on the lower time frames as well. Another annoying London open situation where we pushed really nicely, just come back down to entry. And throughout the day we will make our way back up most likely, but just London open has not been ideal recently. Gold coming down pretty well. Also counter trend though, so just be aware with gold that we are very bullish in market structure. So be careful with that. Almost blew my account yesterday on a gold sell. Yeah, gold is very, very bullish. Very dumb trade, was really bullish. Yep. We have been extremely bullish on gold for quite a while now. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, you can see this whole week we've just been making these strong pushes, pull back, push, pull back, consolidation, push. So yeah, based on market structure, these buys have been decently easy to catch. I was banking on it flipping bearish because what is up must come down. I agree, but then you need to at least have some of the time frames bearish. So what you'll notice with market structure is, okay, the higher time frames, these are going to take a long time to flip bearish. But if you had like the 30-minute time frame flip bearish or the 1 hour time frame flip bearish, then at least you have one time frame on your side, and that could be the beginning of that bearish overall run that you're going to start getting to correct that move up. But if you were taking sells anywhere at any point yesterday, all of the time frames were still bullish, so you didn't have any time frames on your side. But yeah, that's just the importance, I suppose, of market structure. GJ doing this to us again. Can do a quick breakdown on gold. Obviously our market structure is extremely bullish, but how are we getting these zones that we're marking out? So if we look on the weekly, we are bullish in market structure. We're also coming up to a level of weekly resistance. You can see we formed support on a previous level of support, weekly support on gold, and we have a clean weekly candle sort of dropped to correct on the way up. We also respected the low of the previous weekly candle and have not respected the high of the previous weekly candle, meaning that there's a good chance to see that correction. So if we go look on the daily time frame, also very clean candles, very bullish in market structure. It's been quite easy to catch a lot of these moves. If we go look on the 4 hour time frame, we can start marking in some zones. We obviously have this level of resistance, 4 hour resistance forming at the moment, very, very strong level. You can probably mark in this one. We are going to have to adjust it. And then you can see we also have a level of 4 hour support, which we can mark in as well. So 4 hour market structure as well, strong bullish. That's our high created by this point over here. So we're only going to be bearish below here, which is why I'm saying if you want to do start looking at some potential early sells, you need at least this 1 hour time frame to flip bearish, and that's only going to happen below this point. So obviously if you look to the left, if you look to the left here, if we break above this area of resistance, we do have the clean candles to the left. Based on the 30-minute time frame though, you will start to notice that if we do look left, we have another resistance level, and this is where we're currently rejecting and finding problems to get above. So what I would do in this situation is adjust the zone so that it's at the top of that resistance, because we need to understand that 30-minute resistance is very, it's a strong level of resistance. We do need to be able to break above that to then continue. So I'd say once we break above 1838, we should start seeing 1840s. We shouldn't find much problem getting up to those sorts of levels. If we are going to continue bearish and not, just have a little pullback and then continue bullish, we need to start flipping some structure, and that's only going to happen below these sorts of levels down here. So just be aware of that. Obviously there are going to be potential for risky sells below this level, and that's because we have the clean candles to the left, and we are obviously at quite a high price at the moment. So we will probably get a bit of a correction and then continue. But I do see us possibly correcting that weekly drop which we've already gotten quite close to doing. So about 2 weeks ago when we had this very bearish week. Last week was nice and bullish, and this week has been extremely bullish as well. So yeah, GJ obviously being GJ has now flipped bullish again. We've had the proper bottom weight created. This is the sort of situations where you need to think to yourself, okay, where could I have given this trade a second chance type thing? And it could have been after seeing this 5-minute candle form some support at these sorts of levels. But for me, I'm just not too interested in GJ at the moment. I think gold, we could see some nice opportunities, especially if we get a little bit of a bearish drop. So if we do come down to these sorts of levels over here and form some support on this previous level of resistance, or if we come down to these previous levels of support, we're going to be maintaining that bullish market structure. And as soon as we respect market structure and start forming some support, and then we are able to trade with the trend, finding these sorts of buys back up to the top here are going to be super, super easy. So yeah, that's going to be a very safe option. Other than that, I think buys above this 1838 level, again, very far away. That is, you know, 60 pips away is probably going to be the safest buys. But based on the 4-hour time frame, if we do get a nice strong 4-hour candle close, and then the next 4-hour candle wicks down and breaks the previous 4-hour candle high, we can maybe look at taking some earlier entries at these sorts of areas up here. But these sorts of sells are certainly not tempting me too much. GJ is trying to continue this bullish push, but yeah. Very, very clean GJ buys above 156.827, I think, personally. Still kind of ranging, yeah, we are ranging on gold. Gold is definitely not worth trading in this sort of area, guys. This is just pure consolidation, so look at the candle sizes, look at the way candles are forming, rejections at these sorts of areas, rejections at these sorts of areas, just, yeah. So fundamentals for the rest of the week as well, guys. So we did take a look at today. Obviously, we have CPI and unemployment claims, very high impact. If we are going to be looking at tomorrow, we have a Japanese bank holiday, so there's probably going to be lower volume in yen-related pairs, but that's also something that is just, you're going to have to see how the markets are moving in the morning. And if there is volume, obviously all the British banks will still be open. So if you do trade things like pound, yen, then it is still a chance of that moving decently. I mean, there has been lack of volume anyway, so this definitely isn't going to help. Other than that, we don't have much to look at. We also have some pound news, medium impact pound news coming in the morning, quite early on. That's going to be around just before London Open. And we also have some medium impact US dollar news later on in the day, but this is not anything too serious. Nothing close to unemployment claims or NFP or anything like that. So just be aware of that. What do you think of my idea or not good? Let me check. I was buying, maybe I do a gold sell and put no stop loss because we'll eventually come down, potential big profits if I do that, but then don't want to stress like yesterday with my account being blown. Hey, no, I don't know what to like say to that. You know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, why would you just take a sell and not place a stop loss? That's exactly how you blow accounts. Of course, I don't think it's a good idea. I honestly think if you ask any trader that question, is that a good idea, you'll get the same answer. Maybe there'll be one that says, you know, go for it. My friend in Durban blew his account last week. Were you guys giving each other the same advice? Only was a 5k rand. Yeah, but you have to understand, if you can't even build, so if, for anyone who doesn't understand like South African currency, 5k rand is $500 or just a bit less than $500. If you can't trade a $500 account, how are you going to trade like a 5,000, 50,000, you know, $100,000 account? You're not going to be able to. People don't grasp that concept of, if you can't trade small money, you can't trade big money. That's just how it is. And people think all of a sudden once they have this massive account and that they can use this massive lot size, that now they're going to become consistent and they're going to trade consistently, because if they take a win, it's going to be huge. But you need to understand, if you're going to carry on trading the way that you are trading, if you take a loss, it's going to be massive as well. So to have that mindset of, should I take a sell based on, or should I take a sell based on price has to eventually come down and not set a stop loss? Well, let's just take a look at the higher. Let's say you did that over here. you would have been sitting in drawdown now since the 22nd of December. If you had taken a sell at this point over here, you would have been sitting in, you know, that's an incredible amount of drawdown, and you would just be happy with that. So there's no point in having that mindset of, you know, price will eventually come in my direction, because you will never be a profitable trader if you trade like that. Like, I'm sorry to say, but that is just the truth. GJ coming up. Starting with the small account sucks, but I'm hoping I can catch big pips and grow. Starting with a small account is almost essential if you do want to become a successful trader. You know, again, you have to understand the concept of money. Big money doesn't mean you're going to make big money. Because the same way that your profits can increase with bigger lot sizes, the exact same way that your losses can increase as well. $500 account should be doing like $20 trades. Yeah, you should just focus on having a set lot size, trading with that lot size, managing your risk. Simple, 1 to 2 trades a day. Focus on 1 to 2 pairs and trade 1 session, maybe 2 sessions. Wouldn't be happy, but surely high risk, high reward. I don't know if trading is for you, Anon. I'm starting to think you need to maybe venture into a different industry. Yeah, you have to see signs of weakening trends to see reversals, divergence. Exactly. And a weakening trend. So now let's say your overall trend is bullish. And this is where the analogy of the pulling the rope comes in. If you have a 4v0 bullish trend, so that means market structure is extremely bullish, and then you flip one of your time frames bearish, that is then a sign that the trend is weakening, because now you have one sign of, you know, you have one sign of price is possibly going to start continuing bearish. No, never quit, just keep learning. Yeah, but the problem is you're not learning if you're continuously saying I want to blow accounts or I want to take trades based with no stop losses. How's that learning? I agree you must never quit, but if it's going to be something that's, because I mean, when you are eventually fully financially independent and you have to pay bills with this money from trading, and that's your trading mindset, you know, you're not going to have a very good life. That is more or less gambling. If I take a buy now and I say, okay, my account is big enough to hold, you know, negative 1,000 pips, and I say I'm going to take this buy now and I'm not going to set a stop loss, and eventually price will come into this area. That's basically what it's doing. So these potential buys do look to be working out pretty well. It's just we didn't really have that. Obviously, we didn't have the proper bottom wick. We had a little wick down. Looks like we've created that proper bottom wick, and now we are continuing into this clean range. You can see we do have the clean candles to trade into. It's going to be very hard to find an entry now. I think this move has mainly sort of happened, and we could see a nice strong push, then come back down to form a higher low, and then get some buys further up and continue this trend that we have at the moment. Again, if we get above this level over here, guys, we are then flipping our 30-minute market structure bullish. At the moment, we do have bearish 30-minute market structure, giving us a 3v1 bullish overall structure. This was our high. This was the point which created the high, because that's our 2 or more candle pullback. You can see we have created a new low. We have exceeded this point, and when we exceed points at which create highs or lows, that is where our structural flip happens. So if this is our new low, we now need a 2 or more candle pullback, which is bullish. Which is bullish candles. So if this is our low, this is 1 candle, this is 1 candle, here's 2 candles. So you take it from obviously the high So we are going to be bullish above this point over here, and that is also lining up with our area which we are looking for the buy continuations, which is going to be 156.827. Got a chart here from Blas. You are saying, is this a valid resistance? Of course, with London push can easily go up to 156.800. I mean, if we're going to be looking at current price action and the most recent price action, you wouldn't say that this is, but obviously what we do need to understand is that price has rejected at this price point in the past. So of course, yes, we can reject at that area, but we can also then say that, you know, here's a support. Why didn't we reject at this support level before? And the reason for that is obviously when we're trading price action, we look at how did price move in an area most recently. So this is the most recent time price has been in this area. And how did it move? Well, we got clean candles, so nice clean move down. Obviously, if we had rejected and we carried on rejecting this area over and over, I would say that yes, we do need to take into consideration this area. But I think with London volume, we should just be able to push up and hopefully get through here and then come back down, create our higher low, and then see possible continuation. But yeah, very nice question. Very good point to bring up as well. And that's what I mean by you need to look at the most recent candles and the most recent price action. But it is important to understand that, yes. Would have been a really nice move, to be honest. Just didn't get that bottom wick before the proper bottom wick. Probably similar situation to what happened to you guys who were chatting beforehand, but yeah, we got a tiny bottom wick, which in fact did retest this sort of area. It's just we only got that push later. So looking back on the trade now, what would have been possibly a better idea, this is what you got to do after taking loss, guys. You got to understand, how could I have either given my trade a second chance, or how could I have stayed in that trade for longer without risking too much. What maybe could have been done is a stop loss level could have been set below the previous 30-minute candle or the previous 15-minute candle to give the trade more space to breathe, and also allowing for that bottom wick. The only problem with that is obviously you're going to have a much bigger stop loss, which means if you are basing your trade on a 2% risk per trade sort of method, what you need to then do is lower your lot size, because obviously if your stop loss is bigger, your risk is going to be, and you want to keep your risk the same, you have to lower your stop loss. If you don't want to keep your risk the same and you want to keep the same lot size and use different sort of stop loss levels, then it is going to be tougher and you're going to be risking a lot more, and then your risk management really has to be on point. Mike's putting some Chinese looking stuff in the Telegram. Stop hunt. All this sorts of stuff. But it's very nice trade indeed. Gold. Also guys, gold at the moment you just don't really want to get involved in. Another really bad pair which I took a brief look at earlier was certainly GU. There just looked to be no ranges really to trade into. We were also consolidating quite a lot on the 30-minute. We finally are moving up, but you can see on GU guys there is basically no range to trade into until we get above this resistance level. Very, very choppy price action. We got a resistance level over there, resistance level over here. It's going to be very hard to find anything to find like a solid entry where we shouldn't be rejecting. Once we get above this level, you can see the previous level of resistance above that level is up here. So we can look to maybe retest that high. But other than that, yeah, I'd say GU is more or less not my sort of scene at the moment. You feel pretty safe on Telegram. I tried to install the app. and it seemed like it wanted to access everything on there and take over my phone. Yeah, I've been on Telegram for ages, haven't had a problem with it. Definitely not worried about them taking any of my stuff, so yeah. I mean, as long as you're not giving them any sort of like banking information or things like that, I'm sure that it'll be fine. Check out Bitcoin as well. It's becoming pretty regular. I don't remember which one I usually use. It might be Bitstamp. Still continuing bullish. We actually broke above that weekly level of resistance. We were very bullish on we're trying to also flip daily market structure bullish. So this was our low. Now this was the point which created the low, so we have actually flipped that. So we are also bullish on market structure. On the daily, we might need to still come down and retest this level of daily resistance and turn it into support to continue that move up. Looks like there was some decent sort of shuffles up. Is kind of ranging though. Not the easiest moves. So yeah, we definitely need to think about what we're going to be looking for on gold. If you guys are obviously a bit tempted into taking these gold sells, it is very counter trend. This is our high based on the 30 minutes and the 1 hour, and this is a point down here which created the high. Obviously we look for our 2 more candle pullback. It's here, so we take it from the lowest point, which is obviously going to be here. So we're only going to get a structural flip much later on, but that is the risk of taking a counter trend trade. We do have the clean candles though, so price action previously in this area hasn't been too bad. But what I'm hoping for and what I want to see on gold is what I love to see on most pairs is when we have a trend and then we create a higher low, or just creates a strong push in the opposite way of the trend, and then basically riding that back up to the higher sorts of levels. So that always makes things, you know, taking buys at the lowest possible price with the trend. So trading with the trend is super, super important. Strong candle close on GJ as well. So what we can expect now is either we're going to continue up to this level and just get this move done and then come down and create that high low, or we're just going to come back down and retest it now and start shuffling up, similar to what we did over here. No real strong moves, and we were just kind of moving up very, very slowly. Based on the 4 hours, what was a bit worrying about this was we didn't have a 4 hour bottom wick, but obviously we had the clean range on the 4 hour, which was great. Yeah, gold's definitely going to be tempting a few people in, that is for sure. Jones, do you enjoy scalp trades or 1 to 3 day trades? Definitely more towards the scalp side, and the quicker trades, I'm not so much a fan of like trying to predict those long daily sort of moves where, you know, price is going to move a huge amount of pips, and it's, you know, you go into why I don't like swing trading. I think I explained it yesterday as well, is, well, why it's not for me, put it this way, not why I don't like it. Why it's not for me is you go in huge amounts of profit, come back to your entry, then possibly go into some loss, then back to your entry, profits, loss, profits, and then eventually you're either going to get that big push which you were expecting, which only comes in, you know, a couple of days, sometimes a week, or you're just going to keep holding that loss. I find swing trades a lot harder as well to manage risk on. So yeah, much more of an intraday trader. Not necessarily scalping on like the 5 minute or 1 minute, but more so 30 minute, and looking for just, even if it is big moves based on 30 minute and higher time frames, but want to trade times of volume so that those trades don't take so long to play out. Like ideally, if you do catch a nice trade during London Open or New York, those trades can take, you know, 2-3 minutes to play out. And that can be 20-30 pips at times. But that's not to say that I don't like I don't like swing trading, but just it's not for me. I do think though that it is really important to understand all time frames, or just have your set time frames which you want to trade and then understand those. So for me, I like to look at the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour and 30 minute as my main, you know, time frames which I want to determine, like resistance levels, support levels, and where we could be heading. If I'm looking long term, I'm always looking weekly and daily. 4 hour does help as well, but it is more leaning towards a lower time frame. 1 hour and 30 minutes are certainly lower time frames, and then once we start dropping any lower than that, I don't really look at support and resistance levels the same way as I do on the 30 minutes and above, because it's very low confirmation. Are continuing pretty bullish. Yeah, definitely looking at this trade would have been a much better idea to have closed half there at entry and then set my stop loss level should have been below the previous 30-minute candle low. But it's fine. We'll definitely find an entry somewhere along the line today. Yeah, GJ did it to me again, Zems. Had a nice strong push, which was in that triggered my buy stop, came back down to entry, obviously closed half and then had a very tight stop loss which was below the current candle anyway. We did create a minor wick and then we came and created a lower wick and then continued bullish. So very annoying, but you know, you held still. I'm happy for you, but also cross with you, because that means you weren't managing risk, but I'm happy that the trade played out for you. But well done. Anyone who did take GJ and did hold it, or had a different stop loss level basically to what I did, my stop loss level at the time was about here, based on the current low of the candle at that time, which obviously then came to create a new current candle low and then continue bullish. So if you did hold or had a different stop loss level and are still in, well done. Was up big, then came back to entry and got scared and closed. Don't stress. What this big move up means is that we could then get our pullback, retest of this level of resistance, and then get another move maybe during New York or just before or just after New York. Because we kind of now want to see, once we've made the strong push, if we start rejecting this resistance level, what we then want to see is obviously a reaction if we do start coming down at this sort of level over here. So turn that into support. And then eventually, if we do also create our higher low, then I do want to see us getting above this 156.827 level. And then also if we can get maybe a higher time frame candle close there. So if this 4 hour candle does carry on pushing the way it is and get up to this 156 level and then wick down and continue, I will be definitely taking some buys at that point. Check the 1 minute, the 3 candles on the third retest. Let me just check. You're gonna have to explain that to me in Discord. I do know what you're talking about, but like, because obviously you only told me about it quite recently. It's quite new, like quite fresh. We got about 10 minutes left, guys, 10 or so minutes. And then that is going to be us done for London. Remember, there is going to be a New York session today, but that is going to be in Discord. So if you guys aren't already in the Discord, please feel free to join up. If you want, I can send the link sorry, English is escaping me. I can send the link in the chat if my Discord would open, which it doesn't seem to be. Okay, here we go. I think majority of you guys in the chat will probably be in this Discord already. But if you aren't, join up. It's very chilled afternoon sessions. I will mainly be doing the Tuesday and Thursdays will be the open ones, and then I think I'll do Wednesday and Friday, or Monday and Wednesday as the members only ones. So yeah, definitely something to join. Christoph, check gold. You can check gold with your own eyes right there. Not much happening on gold. We know we are in bullish market structure. We know that this is going to be a counter trend sell. So if you did get faked out into those sells based on the 30-minute time frame, tough luck. But I do see us continuing bullish if we maintain our market structure. And I really want to see us get to this 1838 level. And then if we break that 1838 level, we are definitely bombs away until hopefully the 1840s. So that would be what I would be looking at if we are looking long term. Would be nice to see that on the 4 hour as well play out. I just want to check UJ because I did do some analysis on stream yesterday of UJ. I just want to see how it ended up playing out. Basically ended up ranging the whole of yesterday. I did say I think it was not actually, I don't remember who it was who said I should check out UJ, but you can see it might have been Antonio, maybe not though. You can see that we are still looking at the major moves happening below and above these sorts of levels. And obviously we are creating high highs and high lows. So once we get above this 115 level, there are some very clean candles above this level. 115.686, should I say. And then we can hopefully get up to 115.817, which is about, yeah, the pips on UJ are shocking, which is certainly one of the reasons I chose to stay far away from that when choosing a pair to stick with. You can see like the amount price moves and the way that we get ranges on UJ are very different to GJ. Coming down a little bit on GJ. See what news we have in store for us for next week. Monday, nothing. PPI on Tuesday, core PPI. So Tuesday is going to be high impact on gold. We have some very low impact pound news as well, so GJ shouldn't be too affected by that. Also some low impact yen news. On Wednesday we have CPI on pound, so that's going to be high impact. That's also just before London open, so definitely something we need to be looking at. And then we also have retail sales on dollars, so that's also going to be a nice high impact. FOMC meetings as well, but that's very late in the evening, so probably past when I will be trading. But yeah, mid-afternoon, so this is going to be just after New York Open, and we will get some volume. Thursday we got some unemployment claims coming through again, and then nothing really affecting pound yen, low impact yen news. And then Friday we have some, nothing really important, so not going to be too worried about that. But I would say that our big news days for next week are certainly going to be Wednesday and Tuesday. We have some USD news. Gold's trying. Again, guys, not taking this trade. I want to see us create some support at this sort of level, and then I'll be looking for some buys. Take us back up, as I still believe we are very bullish in market structure. Got about 2 minutes left, guys, so any last questions, anything like that, please let me know, and I can try help you out as much as possible. If there are any last pairs you want me to check out as well, I will happily analyze that for you. Other than that, I'll be back, probably be in Discord just before New York Open, so same time as last time, which is going to be about 2:45 my time, so about 15 minutes I'd say before New York Open. Gives us enough time to look through the pairs, mainly gold, and then obviously we can check GJ out as well, and then we'll see if we get some nice New York Open volume and hopefully catch something. Thanks, Antonio. I appreciate all the support as well. So I think that is probably going to be us done for the morning, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Well, I will see you guys later. Those of you who are obviously going to be in Discord to trade, I'll put it on the Telegram as well, though. So if you guys aren't in the Telegram, link is in the description. I will be posting, I'll just type in there when I will be in Discord. But otherwise, thank you for all the support, guys. Please do remember to leave a like on the stream if you haven't already, and sub if you aren't as well. And I will see you guys all a little bit later. Again, thanks for everyone who was in chat today. Cheers, Nick. No problem. We can talk about it as well later in Discord. I think that always helps as well. And thanks Eames, Antonio, everyone else who was here, Trey, Nick. Appreciate it, guys. Balas, and I'll see you all later.